Hello and welcome to another Warcraft the audio commentary. Today we're going to go right back into the TotS best of 5 between our two players here, our two human players, our amazing players. Let's go ahead and get this game started and introduced. We have Yumiko spawning in as the blue human at the 12 o'clock position. The map is Turtle Rock, and he will be facing off against Inquisitive HawK, spawning in as the yellow human down at about the 10 o'clock position. If you didn't see last game, you should definitely check it out. Click right around here somewhere. What a game Game 1 was. It was an amazing game. This is Game 2, and of course, like I said, this is of a best of 5. So bound to see some amazing games. A lot of people don't like human versus human, but you know what? I'm telling you, if you didn't see last game, you should definitely watch it. And always, you should probably try to watch these games in order. You should probably just try that. Of course, this is going to be very interesting for a couple of reasons. One, it's Turtle Rock, and humans always have interesting plays on Turtle Rock. Well, I say always, usually have interesting way to play Turtle Rock. But more importantly, it's a close spawn human match, and that's just going to open the floodgates for strategic creativity. Of course, we're going to see Yumiko. He does have a little bit of a spike right now, so that's not good, but hopefully that'll get resolved without too much of an issue. And of course, you know, that's what that is. And again, one more time, this is for the tournament or league TotS. I don't know what that is. If anyone could help me out, that would be absolutely wonderful. I've been asking a couple of league managers here and there, so I'm hoping someone will know something about that, so I can find out more replays, because so far from what I've seen from this league or this tournament or whatever this is, I want more. I want a lot more. So that's my opinion. Let's go ahead and see that we have both players going with them. Archmage first. Of course, we're going to see Yumiko going for the green camp, while HawK is going to go ahead and come straight down for the orange camp. And that's pretty much a continuation of what we saw last game. HawK is going to creep more aggressive. He's going to creep better. And he's going to end up with more experience in the hero level or hero lead if the game 2 goes the way game 1 did. Now, that's not going to say that HawK's going to win. I'm not going to say yes or no in terms of what happened last game. Just watch it if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it's definitely going to play very interesting, and it's going to produce one heck of a game. Now, I definitely want to see Yumiko actually going for more aggressive creeping than what he did last game. But this time, it looks like what we're going to see is pretty much them creeping in the reverse order. So maybe we're not going to see that. Maybe this time we're going to see Yumiko saying, well, I know what my creeping pattern is, and I know it, and it's going to be smart, because of course if you creep this and you get like Firelord Tower Push or something, it's a little bit easier to defend that than if you're creeping this one. Of course, with the scouting information, you're kind of able to say, oh, that's not going to happen. But you never know. Maybe the human player will say, screw, I mean, you know, maybe HawK says, screw creeping, I'm just going to come over here and harass your peasants and with my militia, for example. So, I mean, there's definitely good reason to go ahead and creep this one first, but there's also good reason to creep the orange camp first. So both players, neither one has done a bad job. And of course, we're going to see that here comes the militia from HawK. So HawK is just going to go ahead and immediately take out this big orange camp right here. And if he can creep this without getting jacked, that's going to be really good for him. Of course, you can see Yumiko is level 2, both players level 2. Yumiko's going to spot right onto that. He's going to say, all right, I'm going to come and try to stop this. Of course, the lesser 2 level 4 turtles, they've already been taken down, but now we're just going to see who's going to get this big one. It looks like the item is definitely going to go to HawK. Of course, we're going to see a peasant going down, and the XP is going to go to HawK as well. Pick up level 3, also going to pick up a potion of greater healing, so it's a great item to get. Will we see a HawK losing another footman for that? It looks like he should lose a peasant as well, so losing quite a few units just to go ahead and take. I mean, there's a pretty heavy gold cost for that, also feeding a little bit of experience over to Yumiko's Archmage. But again, all in all, it looks like it's worked out better for HawK than it has for Yumiko right there. And of course, will that actually even go down? It looks like, there it is, finally. There's actually another peasant back here. This footman could come in here, could kill this one and that one if it wasn't too, you know, afraid of this big army right here coming in trying to do some damage to it. So it looks like we're going to see that Yumiko player backing off right now. So once again, we're seeing HawK with the level advantage and also with the item advantage. At this point, he has a Cloak of Shadows, which is going to be pretty helpful in the early game. There's no way for Yumiko to actually do too much there. So he's going to force Yumiko to deal with targeting footmen and water elementals, and this Archmage can pretty much play as aggressively as he wants. He's got a Claws of Attack +6 and a Potion of Greater Healing, so he's in a really good spot. And if he's going to play aggressively, he can also creep aggressively. You can do either one of those. Of course, we're going to see a Mountain King being picked up right now from Yumiko at tier 2. So actually, I think here's the trade-off that I didn't catch. HawK is sitting at tier 1 still. He's not still tier 1, but he is going to go ahead for that Tech Teep. And he's only about a third of the way through, whereas Yumiko is about a third of the way through getting his Mountain King out. So once that happens, once Yumiko has that Mountain King, he's going to be sitting in a really good position. So even though HawK was able to delay his tech to pick up level 3, it's gonna be questionable to whether or not HawK is actually gonna be able to turn that into a real map control advantage or not. Of course, we're seeing him try right here, and he's not doing too poorly. Of course, we're gonna see Yumiko try to deny this water elemental. Gonna maybe happen, or maybe it just died there, but it will wake up the creeps here, and that's gonna do a bit of additional damage to HawK's units right there, and gonna force HawK to run back. And HawK knows at this point that he is behind in tech, and he knows that that's going to be a potential issue, and he knows that Mountain King should be out right around now, and in fact it did just pop out. We're also going to see 2 Arcane Sanctums being thrown down by Yumiko at the same time. Yumiko sitting at 29 out of 36 food, whereas HawK is sitting at 33 out of 42. So not only has HawK the latest tech, he's also spent a lot more gold in Footmen, and he's also had to spend more gold in Peasants. So we'll see if that's going to be paying off, but now that we can say it's going to be two Footmen, level 2 Archmage, and a level 1 Mountain King versus what appears to be 5, 6, 7 Footmen right there, and a level 3 Archmage. It's gonna be interesting to see, but I think Yumiko's army can take that, just because the Mountain King's bolt allows him to really start killing these Footmen really pretty easily, and he should be able to keep his Footmen alive. And also he's gonna have casters on the way right now. Of course, we're gonna see that Priest Adept training coming out first, as well as a Priest. That's pretty much because, you know, you want to be able to dispel these water elementals. As long as you can dispel them, you get them out of the fight. They do a lot of damage. You get rid of those guys, and it's a lot of HawK's DPS goes straight out right down the gutter right there doing that. So you can always do that. Always good to do. Is HawK going to go for the creep on the sea turtle camp? Yes, he will. At the same time, we're going to see Yumiko trying to creep out this goblin merchant. So once again, HawK is really being very risky right here, creeping out this very aggressive camp creep, and he's saying, you know what, I think I can creep this. I don't know if he scouted that Yumiko is over here, but he definitely can kind of make a pretty good educated guess that Yumiko is probably creeping somewhere. And so if HawK is creeping out aggressively, that's going to throw a big wrench into Yumiko's plans for being able to pick up more additional experience as we go on. And we're actually going to see a second potion of greater healing being picked up right now by HawK's Archmage, which is a great item. And of course, at this point, we can definitely see that keep has been finished finally for HawK. And of course, he's throwing down 2 Arcane Sanctums, trying to get that Mountain King out as well. So Yumiko still hasn't really been able to make up for the fact that HawK was able to take the advantage in terms of experience and the map control. Of course, he also has these 2 wonderful items. 2 potions of greater healings are some of the better items, really the second best items you can hope for in this matchup from those creep camps. The only thing better would be the potions of invulnerability, which is 15 seconds of invulnerability each, which is an amazing item, and if you can get that, that's also going to be super good. But you know, potions of greater healing, like I said, that's the second best item. Put one on your Archmage, put one on your Mountain King, and neither one of them are going to die very easily, so allows you to be very good, very aggressive. Of course, in this, from what we saw last game, HawK's playstyle was more about the hero focus. Yumiko's was more about the let's out micro your army on a unit by unit basis. And of course, so maybe HawK's or Yumiko's going to be the one who really needs those items rather than HawK. And if that's the case, HawK's also been doing a great job, because denying more of these creep camps, the 4 in the middle, they're the ones that you get the best big consumable items out of. So if you can deny those creep camps from, you know, Yumiko, then you can actually say, okay, well, you're not going to get those items, and I know that my hero focus is going to be more effective going into it. And yeah, you can see Yumiko picking up a Scroll of the Beast right there. Not really the greatest item for him. That can just end up getting dispelled, so he's probably just going to end up selling that. And when I say it's going to probably end up getting dispelled, it could also get stolen by the Breakers. So, but it's probably just going to end up being dispelled. So we're probably not going to see that. If he does keep that, it's only because he's going to say, I've been outbreakered, and I want his Breakers to actually be spending time spell stealing rather than actually doing damage to me, and I don't know if we're gonna see that. Of course, who's gonna get the experience for this? We're gonna see a nice bolt on HawK's armor. We're gonna go ahead and immediately cast that Scroll of the Beast so you can pick up a potion of greater healing on the Mountain King. 3 potions of greater healings on this map so far, and there you go. Of course, we're gonna see lots of dispels going on right now. Level 3 being picked up right now for Yumiko's Mountain King. Mountain King, of course, he's got that level 1 Thunderclap. Gonna go ahead and do that. Try to pick off more units right here. These Footmen, as they try to run away, gonna see 2 Footmen going down without a doubt right there. And of course, that Scroll of the Beast actually being pretty useful right there, because not only did it, one, allow him to kill that a little bit faster, it changed the pace at what he was doing. So if you ever tried to last hit something and all of a sudden it takes a spike in damage, it's much harder to do a last hit on. So that was one benefit of that. 2, the Mountain King was full on inventory slots, so he needed to do something to go ahead and get in a way to pick up the item, and he did that for that reason as well. And 3, because he had stunned HawK's Mountain King, he said, you know, there's going to be a moment when that is not stunned, and you know, as soon as that becomes unstunned, I'm going to get stunned on my Mountain King, and I might not be able to get the item then, you know, and so just all of that Scroll of the Beast was a really wise decision. Meanwhile, we can see Yumiko actually throwing down an expansion right here very aggressively, while HawK is actually creeping out of red and picking up a wonderful Cloak of Flames right there on the Mountain King. And of course, you can see HawK level 4 on the Archmage, level 2 on the Mountain King. Actually seeing Yumiko taking the experience advantage with a level 3 Mountain King and a level 3 Archmage. Even though there's a little bit more experience on HawK's Archmage, it doesn't really make a big difference because the amount that Yumiko has is more total, it looks like. Of course, we could check that, but I'm just eyeballing it. Of course, we're going to see a nice Thunderclap, maybe taking down 2 of Yumiko's footmen. Yes, indeed. He doesn't really want to fight that Mountain King with that Cloak of Flames right there. That Cloak of Flames essentially is, yeah, it's 10 damage per second to any nearby land units, which is all those footmen, and that's a lot of footmen if you try to surround the Mountain King. Of course, that's pretty much the same idea behind a Demon Hunter going with an Immolation first versus a Ghoul Rush. And also, there's really no reason for Yumiko to try to throw away units right now. He doesn't need to engage. He doesn't want the unit counts to be low. What he wants is to delay and distract, because that's what his goal is. He's got an expansion coming up right now. This is a hidden expansion that HawK currently has not scouted. HawK doesn't really know what's going up yet, unless he's just saying maybe this is a timing that Yumiko does often, but you know, that's the only way that HawK could possibly know about that expansion now. So that's what Yumiko wants to do. He wants to delay, he wants to distract, he wants to say, first you delay the HawK player by saying, okay, well, I'm going to try to creep Jackie, but I'm not going to commit to it, so it's just going to take you longer to creep that out. And then I'm going to go to your base. So instead of you going to your next creeping spot, you're going to have to come back to your base, and he's going to distract him also by saying, I'm going to just keep, you know, poking at your army and such. Now, doing that delay and distracting might just actually end up being enough to have HawK come over here and say, I bet you're going for an expansion. I know a lot of players, such as myself, who have definitely said, you know, if a player starts playing a little bit weird like that, it's probably like something's up. And so that's definitely a possibility for what HawK is thinking right now as well. Or it could, again, like I said, just be a timing that Yumiko does often. Of course, we're just seeing this fight going underway. Now, this is looking pretty good, actually, for Yumiko. You can see 1-0 upgrades versus 2-0 upgrades, actually, on HawK's Spellbreakers right there. And actually, all of these peasants that came in, they would have been militia. It looks like they accidentally did not get called to militia. Over here, we can see that the blacksmith for Yumiko is not currently working, whereas the blacksmith for HawK is working on getting that first defense upgrade. Or maybe these guys are actually being used to come over here and to put up their own expansion. That might just be what we were seeing from HawK instead of maybe wanting militia. Maybe he did just want to throw up an expansion, and that's actually not a bad idea either. Going for the counter expansion, it can work out pretty well. And of course, Yumiko saying, all right, well, I want to poke at your army. Once again, he's like, because I know that I don't really want you to get that expansion up for free. Like, I got mine up for free, but let's see if we can't do something happen here. Let's make something happen. And you know, I just realized, I'm pretty sure I know what the TotS is. I'm pretty sure that was a Russian tournament that was played on Sunday yesterday. I'm pretty sure I actually know that because Starshaped, when we did the cast, he was like, hey, you know about this tournament coming up on the Russian tournament coming up on Sunday. Seeing lots of Russian, so I know that's like totally not related to the game, but I'm gonna look at that, and if that's the case, I'm gonna put a link in the descriptions of the videos so you can check out the grid and more information about the TotS if you'd like. But this probably was the grand final, so maybe there's not going to be more super awesome games, but whatever, that's not the point. Back into this game, we can see Yumiko is sitting here. He's just trying to poke at this army, trying to get some dispels on these water elementals to go ahead and take some additional experience. We're going to be able to pick that up. Almost level 4 on his Archmage. Of course, level 3 on that Mountain King. That Mountain King does have, of course, a potion of mana and a potion of greater healing. You still need potions of mana when you have the Mountain King for 2 reasons. You know, even if you have the Archmage with the level 1 or level 2 Brilliant Sword, and the reasons for that are 2 reasons. 1, you have an Arcing Tower that can do damage to you. 2, you have Spellbreakers that can do damage to you, and if either one of those units attack you on your Mountain King, you're going to have mana burned. 2, throwing out bolts on pretty much cooldown as well as thunderclaps whenever you get into a decent position is pretty draining on your mana as well, and you only have 330 on that Mountain King anyway, so it's definitely something that takes a lot of mana, and you have to keep trying at that, and you have to keep worrying about getting mana more and more as you go throughout the game. So of course you can see HawK, he's just sitting here at this Arcane Tower saying, you know, I'm just going to sit here and bank. Of course HawK, well, not bank, he's actually already broken food. He's at 61 supply. And over here we can see that HawK is going to be, or Yumiko, I'm sorry, sitting at 74 supply, going up to 77. And he does have the possibility of going into high upkeep, but he doesn't really have this economy to support that. Actually, I'm not sure what just happened. He just went like all kinds of stuff, just crazy numbers happened on his little, I don't know if you're watching that. It shot up to like 800 for a second. I'm not sure if he was training a Paladin as his 3rd hero or something like that. That might have been what he was trying to do right there, but he doesn't have enough wood right now at any rate to do that again. So he might have did that. I don't know what he would have done. Maybe he was going for a research or something. I don't know. But anyway, of course, Yumiko is sitting here. As soon as he runs that Archmage away, we're going to see HawK trying to come into the fight and try to do some damage. Going to be able to take down one of those priests pretty easily. 2-1 upgrades on these Spellbreakers versus 1-1 upgrades for Yumiko. If we look over here, we can see 2-1 on its way being done, but HawK is not really worrying about 2-2 just yet. HawK was actually down in terms of supply count, so he's been trying to get back to even. And so yeah, there you go. Of course, Yumiko gonna drag out this water elemental just a little bit, try to bait some of those priests to burn them. And ideally, you just do that. Maybe if you can waste some of the priest mana, that'd be great. Maybe get the priests to move a little too aggressively, and then they get bolted and picked off. So you know, right now we're just seeing lots of those little pokes, poke, and that's pretty much what we're seeing. And let me just. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so now we can see this fight going underway. Finally, it's taking a little bit of time. Gonna see that footman pretty much being taken down immediately. That priest also being a little bit too aggressive right there, so it's gonna take some damage, but it looks like he's gonna get into the back, being chased by quite a few of these breakers right now. Gonna see one of Yumiko's breakers certainly going down. HawK is playing really, really well right now. Microing absolutely phenomenally. Here we do see, however, Yumiko gonna bring in some militia to go ahead and try to reinforce. It's gonna see a very nice bolt onto HawK's Mountain King right there. It's gonna go ahead and immediately thunderclap all of those militia right there. Gonna force him to back off a little bit. I think we just saw a healing scroll being used from Yumiko as well, and indeed there's a second one on that Archmage as well. And of course, you don't see, well, you know, there's one on HawK's Mountain King too. So there you go. That fight looks like it's gonna end. It's not really. That was more of a poke, let's fight. And you know, that's like when cats, they kind of like they do that little flurry of swipes at each other, but then they back off immediately and they raise their backs really high and go. You know, so like that's essentially what we just saw between HawK and Yumiko happening, and I mean that is dead on what just happened. So that's what it was. But of course, Yumiko is gonna say, "Oh well, you know what? That's over. I'm gonna back off and creep." And you know, for HawK, he's saying, "I'm gonna back off and buy items at my shop, or you know, at the shop on my side of the map." This is a massive amount of units right here. 2-1 upgrades, still 78 food, and is he still going for another tech? Not quite yet. Of course, we should see even tech then. Indeed, 2-1 versus 2-1, and it looks like the food counts are pretty much even as well. So here comes a fight where HawK is saying, I want to go ahead and try to do some damage here. He's going to be able to bolt and kill one of those peasants, but not too much else. He's going to try to back out of that tower range before he actually takes this fight. And this is actually a pretty good position for Yumiko. As you can see, HawK is constantly having to kind of rearrange and regroup his units. Meanwhile, Yumiko is just attacking with full force. Going to see a priest going down certainly right there. Indeed, I think we tried to see a deny. I don't quite know if that was actually able to deny or not, though. But that Mountain King going to walk slightly too close to the Arcane Tower right there. And it looks like maybe someone had went to 83 food for half a second. I don't know. But yeah, we can see both players, they're banking up quite a bit of gold right now. Both of them, indeed. And so we might see one of them try to go up to 100 food. But if you do that, you have to be able to take a fight in an Arcane Tower range. Not really what you want to be doing. So you know, it's very questionable at that point, but alternatively, that means they're also more likely to be more willing to go ahead and take a straight fight like this right here. And in fact, we're going to see that happening right off the bat. Clarity is on HawK's Mountain King, and the meanwhile, we're going to see one of those priests going straight down for Yumiko with that bolt, and indeed, both players, of course, just trying to get the dispels off on these water elements. He's going to see HawK's going down right there. Yumiko staying up just a little bit longer. There is a bolt onto Yumiko's Mountain King as he's taking a rain of damage right there from those spellbreakers. He's going to be able to burn quite a bit of mana. About 50 to 70 mana was burned right off that Mountain King, as well as about 300 life. So we're going to go ahead and see him bolting one of these priests that's kind of in the back. Will that priest go down? It doesn't look like it's going to be in range really of any kind of serious stuff, but it won't be healing in that time, which is pretty nice. We will see one of these spellbreakers about to go down. Going to get healing scrolled and backed out. Very nicely moved. Of course, this Cloak of Flames has it been sold? It might have been sold. And yeah, it was sold because it doesn't really do any damage to the spellbreakers, and that's really what your Mountain King is generally up against. Of course, we're seeing these healing scrolls. A lot of these units are not dying. This is absolutely very intense for both players right now. And we're just seeing units go down left and right. Gonna go ahead and see HawK's Mountain King in a little bit of damage here. He's gonna go ahead and get thunderclapped. He does still have the potion of great healing as well as a scroll of healing, though. Will he be forced to pop either one? We'll go ahead and pop that potion of greater healing. Gonna go ahead and bolt Yumiko's Mountain King, who's not really in any danger of being surrounded because he did have that spellbreaker to the right of him right there, and that's gonna be able to keep him alive. However, we can see Yumiko trying to bring in this around. Gonna see the Mountain King and Yumiko actually taking a bit of damage. Gonna be forced to pop a teleport scroll out of there right like that, and that's gonna be a little bit of pain. And if we look at the food counts now, that actually was to his main base, so Yumiko's expansion is a little bit of exposed right now. You can see Yumiko is at 86 food while HawK is down to 66. So like I said, you know, you're definitely seeing HawK doing a really good job with the focus fire here. And of course, I mean, also Yumiko didn't do a bad job with the focus fire. However, he just didn't have enough items to really take these guys down. But he is also, Yumiko just doing a phenomenal job in this fight, and also seeing that these are 2-2 breakers now versus 2-1 breakers. And indeed, that's going to be a big deal. And of course, we're seeing Yumiko maybe being a little bit more aggressive in bringing out these militia. And indeed, yeah, it's looking to me like right now HawK is at the disadvantage. I mean, if he can't go ahead and if he can't drop Yumiko below high upkeep, well, I don't know. He doesn't need to drop Yumiko below high upkeep. He just needs to stop Yumiko from taking out his expansion. Because if this expansion goes down, he's gonna lose the game almost certainly. I mean, he could still technically win, but he's gonna have a very hard time. He's definitely been losing the fights in terms of this food count by quite a bit. Going, dropping, down below about 20 food while your opponent goes up about 10 food in a fight. That's not your ideal situation. So really well played by Yumiko though, and he did force the TP, and he did do a little bit of damage over to this expansion, but not really enough. And at this point we can see HawK just trying to back off here, saying go for my expansion, and then I'm going to try to sandwich you in between my expansion and my army basically. So you have to fight me in range of my arcane tower, and that's what we're going to see happening sort of right now. But he's trying to go for that Archmage. The Archmage could potentially end up being forced to TP, but it looks like he's going to be fine getting behind that big wall of our yellow army. And there is a bolt on that priest right there, but again, there's just a huge wall of spellbreakers right here, and that's going to be able to stop him from doing too much. And we're actually going to see a bolt being cast onto HawK's Mountain King as well. And will we see the spellbreaker going down? It could potentially happen, but it looks like he's going to be able to get back into the back of that. Indeed he will. And of course we're just seeing Yumiko backing off. Yumiko's sitting at 88 food right now. We're going to have a priest getting a little bit out of position, going to get bolted and picked off, and there is a thunderclap. I don't know quite what it hit. Also we're going to see a stun onto that Mountain King as well. And meanwhile, of course, we're just seeing Yumiko trying to keep his Mountain King in the back. Of course, we're going to see a couple of these spellbreakers trying to go straight for him. And now we can see those militia coming in from HawK this time to try to do some damage as well. We might see these guys, these priests getting a little bit out of position. Yeah, we're going to see one going down for that reason. And here comes those reinforcement militia coming in from Yumiko as well. And Yumiko saying, all right, let's try to be a little bit more aggressive now that I can take a better position. I kind of got you balled up, and I'm going to make you try to fight me on two fronts. Quite a few militia actually coming in from Yumiko right here. As you can see, a load of militia. Needs to keep those away from that Mountain King, because that Mountain King will just walk in. Actually doesn't have enough mana for a thunderclap. Sorry. So this is actually quite interesting. It looks like Yumiko is winning this really well. As you can see, he's at 83 food, while HawK is sitting, I don't know quite at what food, but it definitely doesn't, it looks like he's losing quite a bit more units here. And we're just seeing units drop. Those are, however, militia for the most part coming down from Yumiko, but we are seeing a couple of priests and spellbreakers dying as well, and a lot of very low HP units. Yumiko actually going to have his Mountain King taking a lot of damage right now. Going to have to break a clear path for that Mountain King to get back out behind that wall of breakers right there. Of course, we're going to see him popping that mana potion and going ahead and stunning HawK's Mountain King as well. Now, HawK doesn't have any way to keep that Mountain King back up on mana, but he does have a potion of lesser invulnerability as well as a potion of greater healing, and that will be enough to actually keep him alive. Most likely, however, he does get bolted. Oh, so very close. He's going to go down during a stun. Oh, so very close to actually losing that, to keeping that alive. So down goes HawK's Mountain King. And there you go. And now we can just see, of course, Yumiko trying to move over towards this tavern, trying to deny him from being able to buy that Mountain King back. And if he does buy it back, he's going to go ahead and try to immediately kill it. However, if he buys it back and immediately pops a potion of lesser invulnerability, he'll be alright. We're actually going to see HawK now finally picking up level 6 on his Archmage, and that's good. Of course, if you lose a hero, you always get a little bit more experience that way, so it can sometimes work its way out. Of course, HawK did indeed get that tavern back, Mountain King back out, and of course it's going to be very costly for HawK. You can see these priests are exposed. They're going to go down, and here comes a teleport out from HawK. And indeed, we're just going to see that happen. And now let's look at the aftermath of that fight. We can see 50 food for Yumiko and 56 for HawK. So that actually, even though Yumiko lost more units in that fight, to bring him down to 50 food, that's going to work out better for him, because right now he's not taking any kind of penalty for being an upkeep, and both players are mining off just that one gold mine. As you can see, their main gold mines have gone down. This is actually interesting. Okay, I say that HawK hasn't quite finished out mining this one, but he's not mining it right now, so instead he's just going to bring militia. And that's, I'm not sure who's going to work out too well for him, but we'll see. Of course, he has to keep fighting. HawK doesn't have a choice, because he is an upkeep, and he knows the chances are Yumiko might not have been. So he's like, I'm not even going to let myself finish healing. I'm just going to come, and if I can win this fight, then I can win the game. But, because I should have a little bit more supply, hopefully. But in this case, and he's also brought in these militia. Of course, we're going to see the Mountain King is invisible right here for Yumiko. I'm not sure what he wants to quite do with that, but it is sitting there invisible, and he could maybe go ahead and try to do some really sneaky stuff with it. Maybe end up even being able to get a hero kill or a hero surround from that. And of course, it's going to be very difficult to see what's going to happen before it happens. But yeah, I mean, we're just seeing HawK was forced to back off. Of course, it was a much better positioning for Yumiko. Of course, we're going to see 51 versus 54 food. So both players in upkeep right now. Yumiko, of course, making some units. We're going to actually see, it looks like, was that a dispel on the Mount King? I can't quite tell, but Yumiko's Mount King is going to get surrounded. However, he will pop that potion of lesser invulnerability and get out of there. He's level 5 as well versus level 4 Mount King. So he's getting fairly close to level 6 too. Of course, as well as Yumiko's Archmage finally getting to go ahead and pick up level 6 right there as well. So now we're seeing that both Archmages are at level 6. And does he go for level 3 Brilliant Sword? He does go for level 3 Brilliant Sword because this is a fight where it's close spawn. He doesn't really need to get out, of course, and he just needs lots of mana. And Yumiko's just going to barely be able to keep that Mountain King from getting surrounded, using that Priest very effectively. And we're going to see HawK's going to take a little bit of damage. Oh, he's going to go for the kill on the Archmage from HawK right there. HawK's not going to lose that Archmage. Going to pass the potion of greater healing over to the Archmage from the Mountain King. At the same time, Yumiko will lose his blade or his Mountain King. So that is a little bit unfortunate for him. Does he have enough resources to actually tavern that back? I don't know. He does not right now. So he needs to get that back out if he wants to be able to win this game. He definitely needs that Mountain King. And of course, that's a lot of experience being picked up by HawK's Mountain King right there. And of course, almost level 7 now on this Archmage right here for HawK. And he didn't actually take level 2 or level 3 Brilliant Sword. He took Mass Teleport. So there you go. There you go. That's the fight pretty much. And now it's just like, how long will it take Yumiko to get that Mountain King back out? Because he needs the Mountain King, and he really does. And if he can buy that Mountain King right about now, you know, then he's gonna be sitting pretty good. And so it looks, there it is, and now we're gonna see a bolt right onto the Yumiko's Mountain King. Will Yumiko's Mountain King go down? No, he's gonna pick up a Scroll of Town Portal, and he's just gonna kind of try to run away. Doesn't necessarily want to use that just yet. And of course, wait, what? Oh! What? The Spellbreaker's actually got us around on the Mountain King as well as... Wait, what's this? Oh, Yumiko's just messing with him at this point. Oh, wow. Okay, so HawK's not very happy about that, being forced to bring the Mountain King back out, almost getting another surround on that Mountain King as well. What a move. HawK almost not going to be happy about that one whatsoever. And now Yumiko is definitely taking the lead right now just from that. He's just forced so many tavern backs. And of course, you can see still 2-2 Spellbreakers for Yumiko versus a 2-1 for HawK. And if we look at this food count supply, let's see, we can see it's going to be 42 for Yumiko versus 51 for HawK. And here comes the Mass Teleport right there. Going to try to get him somewhere, I'm not sure where, back to his base, yes indeed. So you can go ahead and try to heal back up and buy some potions and such things. And indeed, of course, I'm not really sure if Yumiko is messing with him, but it kind of looked like it from the chat. He's like smiley faced, haha, you know. And he could have easily killed that Archmage. He just kind of let it walk away. So that was definitely very odd. Oh, he's gonna kill the Archmage with the Mountain King and visible Mountain King out straight into a bolt onto that Archmage, popping a potion of lesser invulnerability and now getting level 6 as well. Gonna pop his avatar, his ultimate, making him immune to magic. Gonna go ahead and try to kill this Mountain King from HawK as well. This could be good game. He's gonna be forcing him to pop that potion of lesser invulnerability, but there's really no way for him to actually keep that alive if this Mountain King decides to chase, and indeed it's going to. It's gonna take him down with the bolt. HawK's not very happy about it. He's like, oh, but good game, well played. Absolutely amazing comeback from Yumiko. I don't know, I really felt like he was behind right there. But then he just kind of pulled out some phenomenal surrounds that we didn't even see. So that was a little bit unfortunate. Or maybe we did see him. Who knows? But what a game. Absolutely amazing game. And yeah, wow. Okay, so what a game. That's game 2. If you want to check out game 1, you click right about here. And if you want to check out game 3, you click a route right here. And what a game. Again, I'm pretty sure also for game 3, I'll give you more information about the tournament since I should know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's that Russian tournament that I alluded to earlier. And there'll be a link in the description below if you want to check it out, the grid or whatever, for even more information about it, especially if you read Russian, because I don't. So there's all that, and hopefully we'll see you in game 3.